Hey, everybody, welcome on this Wednesday?
Wednesday. Why are we here on Wednesday, Joe?
Because it's Turkey Day tomorrow. And then we're not going to be here on Friday. So, thanks for joining us. You know me as Joe, and I'm joined by my usual cohort.
I'm Sean.
With no mustache this time.
Yeah, I know. It got getting rid of it. My lip was cold.
It's okay. I mean, it was cold with the mustache, or it's cold now?
It's cold now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I can imagine. And that's why, like, I wanted to shave my beard, but then I realized winter was coming, and that was just a bad call.
Yeah.
So I'll revisit this in spring, and June.
Go back to the Joe T.
Yeah, the Joe. Maybe I'll just do like handlebars.
Oh yeah, just big old.
Or I'll just shave the center and then just have a mustache, but I'll shave it real thin.
Like a Tony Stark style?
Maybe that. Or just go into like a grocery store and be like, "Oh, man, nice to see you." And actually pull it off, I guess.
Maybe.
So we're going to start the live stream with a piece of interesting news from WCCS Tech, who has clarified from NVIDIA themselves that no, the RTX 20 Ti cards are not pulled from the product line. And why anybody would ever think otherwise, I don't know. You'd think that'd be a big press release from NVIDIA, like, hey, you know what? We kind of made a mistake. We're going to revisit this. And
I think maybe they're just trying to, with them not being in the best position right now with this launch, they're trying to go a little easy when it comes to the blasting out of like, no, it's not a recall, when they just admitted that there were production issues.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, because they could simply be masking the fact that they want to take stock at a halt to be able to fix their problems and then release them in mass quantities. They're just, oh no, demand's just high. And that's exactly what this WCCF Tech article said. They'd said that, availability is just not there because these cards are that popular. They're that popular, of course, like that's a perception you could have. But is that really it though?
I think it's a factor in why you can't get the cards right now. I don't think it's the main factor, though.
It is definitely not the main factor. It's a factor.
A factor, yeah, that's about all we can say.
But it was nice to see that NVIDIA was quick to action with that statement.
Yeah, hopefully it means they're, well, again, we mentioned this last week, hopefully them admitting that there were production issues with the 2080 Ti, it means that they're putting work into it, because they do want these cards to come out.
I mean, everybody does. I mean, especially with the adoption, a lot of the games, which we're going to talk about toward the end of the stream, it's nice for that adoption rate to get rolling, so then finally we have full support for all batteries, and by batteries I mean RTX 2080 Ti cards. Not quite there yet, though.
Yeah, but essentially at this point, we're still waiting to see kind of how everything's going. If you're looking at the 2080 Ti's, you still have a little bit of time to try and source one, because...
And for pricing to go down?
Yeah,
maybe
you have a little bit of time.
A little bit. Hi, Rurudo. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Happy to see you on Twitch and otherwise.
Oh, and hey, A-Dubs.
What's up, A-Dubs? I don't think you weren't on last week, were you? But it's good to see you. Yeah. Thanks for joining, as always.
Early adapter tax from Ruru. Yeah.
It is
to a certain extent, I think.
Early adopter tax? Tax, you mean? Early adapter tax.
Adapter kind of works.
I'm adapting to it, so I guess that's somewhat true.
Yeah. Works.
I just want to see pricing get a little bit better. I hate to say that I was one of those individuals that felt that they were just not worth their price tag. And then you always have the other argument that, oh, well, you got to pay for brand new tech. Like there's a price point for brand new tech that just hasn't matured fully yet that you have to expect to pay. And that might be true for cell phones, maybe. But for graphics cards,
that used to be true, I think, overall in the tech industry a lot more than it is now. I think with how mainstream so much tech is becoming, the expectation has gone up a little bit in terms of the first time you release something.
Leave it to me to not silence my phone when I do it in every stream.
But yeah, so I can see it being an early adapter or adopter tax, and I agree that is kind of what it is. But I think at this point in time, with how the industry's been, we're kind of past that stage. Like we should be to the point, at least if you're in NVIDIA, an AMD, an Intel, or a Microsoft, like kind of the big boys. I think you need to have your launches go a little bit more smoothly, especially for a main flagship. Like the 1080 Ti was their biggest card for what, a year and a half, 2 years?
Just about.
So if that's going to be, how you're handling things, and that's going to be your flagship product, I think the bar needs to come up a little bit on that side of things. I still want the new hardware, but I think they can get a little bit better.
It kind of feels like at some point in time in the industry, mistakes like this started to pour in at what used to be an alarming rate, and now people are just used to it by now. Because I agree, there was a point in time when everything was very professional and solidified, right? You never had people run into problems with their manufacturing process to this degree, let alone have the product actually release for purchase. But at the same time, the competition was not, and like the arms race for sales and to be the leading graphics card manufacturer or leading hardware manufacturer in any sector of the IT industry was not as fierce as it is now. It used to be kind of like AMD and NVIDIA's sales were kind of like Intel's TikTok in a degree. Like NVIDIA releases a card, AMD comes out with a card in response. It's very similar and vice versa. And the performance numbers were very close, and it was just like, well, business as usual. And competition was rich and fair and very illustrious for people and end users like us. And it hasn't been like that for a long time. So
I think another part of that too is who is using the hardware now. Like, 10, 15 years ago, if you were building your own PC, that was, that was a project you were doing. Now,
yes.
Now in 2018, PC gaming and components like this have gone from being kind of a niche. They're still sort of a niche, but they're far more mainstream. Like,
so mainstream.
So with this many people getting involved, that's what I'm saying. Is I think the industry has changed away from more of what you were talking about was kind of back when professional was the biggest marketing idea and the biggest market for these companies. Meanwhile, now, it's the gamers, it's the consumer level.
Yeah, and that's at least when it comes to the gamer and the consumer level kind of perception. I don't think they're worried as much, especially with the younger generation kind of moving in and that really not being a deciding factor of purchase for them. You could be a lot more relaxed in that regard, I guess. Maybe it's something that they'll start to focus on in the future. Maybe something will happen that will cause them to learn from their mistakes and not repeat it, i.e. Intel's Sandy Bridge debacle. Did you remember the Sandy Bridge debacle? I don't know, you're kind of young.
Yeah, I don't know if that was...
So basically what had happened was Intel released their second generation i3, i5, i7 processors, and that was, the 2500K, the 2600K, and then later the 2700K. And what had happened was somebody had found a flaw in the chipset design on the SATA controller that the longer that you read or wrote data to a device, the performance would degrade down to nothing. And somebody was able to run a read and write test on a hard drive that basically crippled the read and write performance and even like the sequential read and write down to like 10 megs. And it was awful. And people were super alarmed, and it took this one individual or outlet to determine and find out that this even existed before anybody did anything about it. Intel did nothing. I mean, they released like an apology, like, hey, we didn't know that this was a thing, and we're going to take quick action to correct it. And we're board manufacturers like Asus and Gigabyte and MSI, and at the time, who was it? Like EC Tech or something. They all offered RMAs for their boards to swap out. System builder, like us at the time, what we were basically doing is offering people to send their system in and we do the swap, or we were offering to send them SATA controllers to just pop in their PC and call it a day if they didn't want the downtime.
Yeah. Because
this was like one of, next to like the workstation grade processors, the HEDTs at the time, the first i7 HEDTs, these were hot items. Nobody wanted to let go of their PCs after they waited so long to get the Sandy Bridge boards. So that was a hot mess, and that's something Intel has not done since then. They've not repeated that mistake.
And Ruhr brings up a good point. Kids just need a GTX 1050 Ti fork knife box or fortnight box.
In a fork knife box, yes.
No, that's absolutely true. But what I'm thinking about is in the future. Like, so if a kid gets, we'll say an RTX 2080 Ti now, or even a 1050 Ti, and they have a lot of issues out of the box, I'm not even talking from my personal perspective. I'm just thinking from Intel or AMD's or NVIDIA's perspective. You're marketing a lot of your products to a younger, impressionable generation. If they come out with a bad idea of your company, that's not something that's going to go away immediately.
No.
So I think that's
going to take some nurturing.
I'm a little curious to see how this is going to affect kind of NVIDIA's perception over like the next 5 years, because I don't think it's going to be an immediate thing. I think it's going to take a little bit for the effects to be seen.
I don't know, man. The industry can kind of be like Hollywood in the sense that sometimes if you do stuff, like you're burned and banned almost immediately. I mean, it's got to be really bad though, really bad. No. So it can't be like previous Intel CEO having a scandalous relationship with a current employee kind of detriment. But,
oh yeah, he went Clinton on that.
Yeah, nobody was like, that's a personal life thing, and that's something that never should have made it to public anyways, first off.
But I feel like they had to make it public, because otherwise everybody would have been like, what did he do?
No, he could have just been like, you know what? This isn't my thing anymore. See you later. Like he was forced to go public with it because it leaked.
Well,
and that kind of sucks.
And Intel's publicly traded. I imagine their stock would have taken a bigger nosedive if the CEO would have left without specifying.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Who knows?
Only time will tell. Anyways, let's talk about something that's really not even that depressing, but expected. Yeah. Valve apparently discontinuing their Steam box.
They essentially have killed off the Steam Link.
I mean, yeah, Steam Link, and that's no surprise there. They were selling this thing for like 50 cents in some sales.
Oh, they were this went on sale like every other month?
Yeah, I bought one for $2. I have two now, and I barely use the first one, but I got a Steam Link for $2.
Yeah, so
doesn't matter.
With that being said, though, they're ceasing production on the Steam Link, but it doesn't seem like they're completely killing it. So what that means is, so in terms of hardware, they're still going to manufacture the controller, and they're still going to support the Vive Steam Link, but it's going to be mostly through software.
Yeah.
And something kind of interesting that I think is why they're kind of killing this off is, I think what they're trying to do is develop a mobile app that'll allow you, or some kind of software level. That way you don't have to buy a piece of hardware to stream your games.
Something already exists like that, though. I tried using it once, and it works kind of okay. Hold on. Stream PC game. I have it on my phone. Had it on my phone for a while. And it's didn't work so well on an iPad that I tried it on.
Well, yeah, I think
Moonlight.
Moonlight.
It is called Moonlight. Unless like maybe they're gonna buy Moonlight and then with like Valve's resources make it into a tangible thing. That'd be pretty badass.
Develop the tech for it. They haven't made any announcements, but I really don't see Valve completely giving up on in-home streaming. Like that's too big of a market for them.
True. I'm really excited though to see how the Shield works with in-home streaming, since I've had experience with the Steam Link, because I purchased a Shield TV a little bit ago because it was on a crazy sale.
Yeah.
So there's a spider on the wall behind you. That's what somebody said in Twitch.
Huh.
Where is it?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
This is going to be some crappy joke that we don't get and we look foolish.
Yeah, and like how can you even see the spider?
Or he mentioned it just to get us to look like this, which, to be honest with you, is pretty cool.
Dude, I don't care if that spider's going to come at me. It's apparently my time to go, and I just accept it at this point.
All right, Ruru, can it work like Chromecast to watch Netflix? That's the idea.
Yes.
That's the idea.
Yeah, I've officially
there.
Yeah, I've officially used Steam Link as almost like a free team viewer session.
Yeah.
In a matter of speaking, you can do it. You have to change a few settings to make it actually open up into the desktop and not into
big picture mode.
Big picture mode.
Yeah.
You can do it. The resolution and the overlay can either be overdone or underdone, depending, but still.
Yeah, it's on its way there, I think.
Oh, the pylon. You can actually get the pylon. I think it's on ThinkGeek. I have one at home, too.
Oh, is it the USB charger?
Yes.
Gotcha.
You need to construct more pylons. Pylon. The only downside with it, though, Rudo, is that it's only 2 amp. So if you have a smartphone and you want to charge stuff on it, kind of sucks. But I just plug mine in and leave it on, because once it's plugged into AC power, it lights up. You can't really tell from the set, but yeah, it glows blue.
Yeah.
Really badass.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking. So hopping into more on the software side, but kind of on the negative software side.
Oh, my favorite.
Oh, man. Millions of Android users downloaded a malware from the Google Play Store.
Yeah, so basically what that is there's like a dozen games on Google Play right now, Sean, that look like racing games. And the funny thing is, Brooke's going to scroll through it real quick. It'll show some screenshots. Somebody like me that knows a little bit better, just from like the screenshots alone, oh, they're too tiny. You can't see them. But like if you look at them, they look like complete fakes. They look bogus. They're all like shiny and colorful, and you can tell it's like trying to attract unsuspecting people. Like, oh, it looks like a sweet racing game with a bright and colorful bird. And what it does is it essentially pulls a payload from an offsite server unassociated with an actual developer and just loads your phone with malware to track your usage, your network traffic, and to learn all your secrets.
Yep.
So if you don't have any secrets, just download all 12 of these games and see what happens.
Alrighty. Kevin Lewis, hello. How often do you need to replace thermal paste? As needed, unfortunately, is the answer to that. Realistically,
well, it depends. It depends. I mean,
that's a really hard question.
If you use, listen, I've been building PCs for close to 16 years now. I've only ever needed to replace my thermal paste when I was trying to diagnose my liquid cooling system and power it on and off constantly, and I didn't have any water in it, and my blocks just ran hot with absolutely no way to dissipate the heat, and I literally just like baked the thermal paste dry. If you use the right thermal paste for the right application, you really won't need to. Keyword, need to. Is there going to be a loss in performance after a while? Just about 3 to 4 degrees, give or take. Mm-hmm. If you want to regain that 3 to 4 degree difference back, then reapply it maybe once every couple of years.
Yeah, anything, you shouldn't have to replace it more than once every like 2 or 3 years. That should be as often as you have to. If you're screwing around with stuff and you're taking the system apart and putting it back together, obviously, yeah. But in terms of just running it, yeah, you have a couple years before it's even something you should consider. Realistically, make sure your CPU temps are okay. That's really, that's what's going to tell you if you need to at least take a look at it. If your CPU temps start to spike, take a look at the thermal paste. Otherwise, you can kind of just let it ride.
Oh no, the pylon's out of stock. I'm really sad. Amazon has it for $27.
So one might say they must construct more.
Hey man, just so you know, the $9.99 price tag on ThinkGeek is not what I paid for it. I paid $20 for these things, realistically. Amazon has them for $27, 16 left in stock. So I mean, if you want to pay the additional $7 on top of what it typically is, like it's up to you. If the nostalgia's there, it's there. It's there for me. So I would have paid $30 for these things, even though they're not that great. So F-Droid is better than Play Store. Changed my mind. I've never even really heard of F-Droid, to be entirely honest with you.
Yeah, me either.
I used to root my Android devices all the time. I would get a phone, I would deal with it until a new, like a really good ROM would come out, and then I would root the hell out of it and then flash it like every 3 months with a different ROM.
Yeah.
The only reason, and this is how Samsung got me, the only reason why I have not been doing that with my Galaxies is that you lose Samsung Knox, which is a secure function for the phone and encryption, which then forces you to lose your checkout payment options. And I can't tell you how many times I've left my wallet at home and then I'm able to pull my phone out and just pay for what I need at the checkout regardless. So yeah, I kind of need to have some redundancy in terms of my finances, so it's just not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But I'll look at F-Droid. F-Droid.
Yeah, it'll be pretty cool.
I'll check it out. But in terms of the security, just use your common sense. If you see something and you don't need it for one, I mean, games are going to have high ratings if they're legitimate games. Read the comments. Do some research. Don't just look at a picture and go, looks fun, I want to play it, and download it ignorantly. Still doesn't stop millions of people, though, from downloading malware, apparently. So
yeah, what is the joke? You can design anything to be idiot-proof, but then the universe will develop a better idiot.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way past it. People will figure out a way.
Nope. But this isn't the first time.
Almost inspiring.
It is. Semi-inspired by Sean Casley. This isn't the first time that Google's had security issues, sadly, with their Android devices. But at the same time,
Apple has too. I don't think quite as much.
They had lock screen issues for a while.
I thought that the Apple Store had somebody, or like had a couple duds or a couple.
There was a few times like payment information was not like you only had to put in payment information once and it would save it, and then that led to like people calling Apple like, "Hey, my 4-year-old just bought like $600 worth of software. I need a refund, please." So now it's like you can set it up to where you have to put in a password every time you purchase, or you can put like a 15-minute hold on it, which is kind of okay. Android has similar functionality as well, but that's regardless. Things have certainly been worse for Android. So
oh yeah, no,
malware. I mean, now Apple has malware on their PCs. So
my parents grew up in China without electricity. Giving them a smartphone without teaching them about the interwebs isn't a good idea. From Guru.
That could create aneurysms, bro.
Yeah, but he brings up an interesting point, which is like a lot of the issues that you deal with PCs, specifically software-wise, is just because people don't have that feel of, I shouldn't probably download anything off of www.157xbq.eu. You know what I mean?
I mean, you could try.
Well, but I think, but he brings up the interesting point of like that education level is kind of the core problem, not necessarily Google Play Store.
Speaking of the education level, Kevin Lewis on Facebook says that computer savvy people can typically spot scams a mile away. Yep. They don't fall for scams, and you're right. And the only reason I think Kevin is what makes them savvy is the learning process, for one. You live and learn from experiences. That's where I've gained a decent amount of my knowledge, at least software and hardware wise, is just for messing around with things, fixing problems, either self-created or just randomly created. You just learn from experience. I work and learn better that way. So, knowledge. That's right. Knowledge. See my bookshelf. It's got all my Android interwebs malware on it, right next to my Lamborghini. My knowledge. Speaking of knowledge, y'all need to learn yourself some knowledge on these Black Friday deals that are about to happen.
Yeah, in some cases they're deals, in some cases they're stuff for sale. So on the kind of the negative side of things, Intel CPUs are, instead of going on sale for Black Friday, expected to hit MSRP.
Because they've been so bloated in pricing.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, good news, but it's Black Friday and everything is just hitting MSRP.
When did Intel and NVIDIA switch roles?
They both have not had great launches the last couple months. They're both.
How would you know whether they had great launches? Stopped you dead in your tracks. That's what it's like to have a live stream on a Wednesday when you should have at least had 2 more days to prepare. Emotionally and mentally.
Emotionally, mostly. Yeah, no, this is...
I feel like ants on my eyes, Johnson. I have ants in your eyes, Johnson. And what am I going to do?
But while Intel is not having the best in terms of Black Friday deals, there are a couple good ones out there, specifically the 860 EVO, which is Samsung's kind of big bad SSD.
And record profits, according to Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
Ruda said Intel's making record profits.
So yeah, of course they're making record profits now.
Billions billions.
Everything is at a way higher cost than it used to be.
And billions and billions.
And record profits is now, there's no options in a lot of cases. So that's the other thing is, while profits may be high, what's that doing for the future? If you keep your pricing too high, does that burn people off you in the future? But anyway.
It's destroying everybody's hope and desire.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's
making
just
me die a little bit inside.
But anyway, the 860 EVO, which is Samsung's 2.5-inch SSD, is on sale right now for pretty much the same price as the MX500. So the MX500 is Crucial's SSD. It's, in terms of the budget 2.5-inch, my opinion, it's one of the better ones. Meanwhile, the 860 EVO, which is kind of a little bit of a higher end, I would say, consumer drive, that being down at the same price is actually a good deal. So if you need an SSD, check out the 860 EVO. As far as what I've seen in terms of component pricing for Cyber Weekend, that's one of the only great deals that I've seen.
So A-Dubs and Naruto are having an interesting conversation about dial-up internet that I have to just chime in on, because you guys may have been using AOL back in the day with 56K modems. But did you guys ever use INN? You ever heard of INN? Anybody? If anybody can tell me the acronym for INN legitimately without Googling, if you know what that is, I will send you a free AVADirect t-shirt. Immediately. INN was one of the first online social central points for the internet before the internet was a well-known thing.
Okay.
My dad worked for Lucent Technologies at the time, and they were working with this company to basically do bug development for it and determine its longevity and capability online. And so he had a login for it, and there was a bunch of things you could do socially. You could play games and things like that. Nobody's responding. You're taking too long, so I'm just going to tell you. It was called the Imagination Network, is what it was. And it was the first form of AOL before AOL ever existed. Then, like, a decade or so later, AOL bought INN, and people were, like, super excited because they thought AOL was going to take it and turn it into something amazing. No, they shelved it. They shelved it. They did absolutely nothing with it. But yeah, I remember dial-up days. I remember my mom picking up the phone while I was playing, like, Doom with my brother, who was upstairs, and I was downstairs in our computer room, because those were a thing in the 90s.
Computer room.
Computer room.
Yep.
And my mom downstairs, yeah, it was fun. It's a good time.
Yeah, don't miss those days.
I don't either. My mom used to come in my room and just pull my PC out from the wall, and I'd be like, what the hell? Awful.
Yeah, I never had to deal with that.
Yeah, Winamp was shelved too. You're not wrong, A-dubs. Winamp died a cold, heartless death. BBS, the bulletin board system. Yeah, Kevin. All right. I used to make my brother log on there to help me get tips and hints for games I was stuck on. It was the first DOS-based form of forums.
Oh,
before
all right.
forums existed. You go on the bulletin board system. And it was just colored text and a black background, and yeah, dude.
Oh, back in the days of black backgrounds and lime green text.
Dude, it was a real thing. And Q-Link, oh no. This makes me excited that you all know what this is, but I feel so old. I wish my brother was watching. He'd probably talk about it. He'd say things because of his knowledge. Back when he had to buy an expansion, a PCI expansion card to use a mouse in Windows. Because Bill Gates stole the idea from Steve Jobs. Made it a dedicated card, so he felt it was official. But
yeah, well, getting back into this century, Digital Foundry completed some ray tracing on Battlefield 5. So not only is this early ray tracing real results, it's also Battlefield 5, which is a new game that's kind of coming out. So what do you think? You think this is going to be, Battlefield 5 is going to help bring RTX and bring ray tracing into kind of more people care about it? Or do you think it's going to stay that kind of it's a neat theoretical thing, but we're still waiting for the first big RTX? Do you think this is the first one, or do you think it's going to be past this?
Here's the problem. Here's what I'm already seeing starting to happen. NVIDIA thought they were going to be able to sell a butt ton of these cards, enough to fund the capability for developers to fast adopt RTX ray tracing technologies in their games, and then it would level off. What's starting to happen is that everybody is keeping a watchful eye on benchmarks as it relates to real-time ray tracing in games, and until it gets to a point to where it's actually appealing to people, nobody's really going to be investing in these cards a whole lot. And we'll talk about, again, some of the testing that was done on Battlefield 5 for ray tracing, for real-time ray tracing effects, to give you kind of a good idea as to where that stands. But as of right now, it's nothing impressive. RTX cards are only being benchmarked in 1080p to give you real, responsive real-time ray tracing frames per second performance. Anything above that is just poo. It's at least in my opinion, it's just poo. If we're talking 1080p in 2018 for PC usage, why even write the article? Don't. Spend your time making yourself a nice peanut butter and jelly sandwich, because that makes more sense.
Yeah, this definitely seems like they're just getting started on the software side of things, is what it looks like to me. Looks neat. But
see, I am too, A-dubs. You're absolutely right. A-dubs says he'd rather have good frame rates per second of rasterization than raise and dog poop frame rates. 144 frames. Yeah, man. I'm a 144 hertz snob now, and I'm a 2K snob. Which is funny, because back in 2008, when I got hired into this whole little shindig, people were high-end benchmarking with 2K monitors. That was but how great is this thing? It was its can it play Crysis portion of the review. And now that's what is today 4K.
That's something else. You bring up an interesting point. I'm curious to see in A-dubs as well. Or, I'm sorry. Yeah, A-dubs as well. I wonder if more people caring. So I'm not a huge FPS snob. As long as it's 60 plus, I'm okay. That's really kind of where I'm focused. But I like having 2 or 4K. That's my. I need to have a high resolution. Right. I wonder if ray tracing is going to kind of, because I feel like that's just two sides of the same coin. I wonder if that'll kind of that'll diverge a little bit if you'll buy one card because you care more about the resolution, or if you go with another way because you care more about the frame rate. I wonder if we're going to see a separation there.
Hold on, this is my timer for me to have deep thoughts about your question. I will always go over smooth textures when it comes to performance. So I will take a dive in performance to make sure things look beautiful. It used to be the opposite. When I still had a CRT monitor and an 8600 GTS graphics card, I used to blast all of the graphics settings up to max and then drop down to like 1280 by 720. And it would be blurry and it would be pixely, but man, look at the shadows. Until after a while, I started to realize those low resolutions just made everything smear all over the screen, and then those graphics settings didn't matter. So first thing I'll do is I'll drop things like shadow shader performance from like ultra to high to medium, and then once the shadow settings don't do anything, then I start looking at like ambient occlusion and stuff and dropping that down to try and get frames where they need to be in an acceptable manner. So how that's going to translate for everybody else, Sean, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this stuff is just like we kind of have to wait to see.
Yeah, I mean, well, A-Dubs had a good point. He basically said that no, sorry, not A-Dubs. Rurudu said that the problem with real-time ray tracing right now is that it's tanking performance for a difference that people don't even see yet. Yep. All it was supposed to do was to make developers' lives better initially, and then they found a way to add the visual aspect later, was what I read. And that's kind of the way that they promoted it at the live discussion.
Yeah, and
they released the RTX cards. They were like, man, for you to be able to take real-time ray tracing and implement it into your game, you don't have to waste time determining how is this shadow going to look real. It's just going to look real. And that was kind of like jamming it down our throats that your games look more real, your games look more real. Hey, your games look more real! RTX! Well, now our games don't look real anymore because I don't see real life at 15 frames per second, unless I'm having a stroke. So, nice try. Yeah. Try again.
Well, it'll get there.
Please no. I've already had to use the "It's a great day" saying twice today. Against my will.
Somebody gun to your head? Say it's a great day.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there in August. August has come. We're going to get there in September. September's come. We're going to get there in October. October's come. Coming soon.
Anyway, so hopping back a little bit into the, we talked a little bit earlier about Valve canceling or ceasing production on the Steam Link. Something else that's coming out is, so Vive has started to, or HTC has started to put out a wireless attachment or a wireless accessory set for the HTC Vive.
It has been available since September 8th.
Yeah, that allows you essentially, you hook a battery pack to the top of your headset, you unplug the long, 12-foot cable?
Yep.
And then you can work kind of without having that giant cable running down your back like you're in the Matrix. Apparently there are some issues with Ryzen systems specifically with the wireless, which on one side of the fence means that Intel doesn't have too much to worry about if you're doing VR, but on the other side of the fence, I feel like a lot of people that are doing VR are using Ryzen, so that's kind of a little bit of an issue.
Are they though?
I feel like a lot of them are.
I don't know. I can't really say a whole lot about our internal relationship with HTC, but typically I can at least say this: if there is something there is a known issue, they typically let us know. Like, hey guys, here's a patch for this in case your customers have problems, and I've heard nothing.
Well, what's interesting is, and kind of to your point here, is HTC, at least in my opinion, is playing this right. First off, on our side of the fence as a seller of a lot of HTC stuff,
right?
They're good to work with. Like, they actually,
they're fantastic.
They will. Hey, there's a problem. Oh, we'll look at it.
That happens. And responses within like 15, 20 minutes to emails.
Yeah. So not only is this the company we're talking about, at the same time, too, if you have a Ryzen system, they're accepting returns. So I wanted to bring this up partially to point out, the wireless is having an issue with Ryzen. This circles back a little bit into that early adopter tax that we were talking about earlier. But what I liked about this is that this is a company in our field that is actually handling an issue, in my mind, well.
And actually understanding the issue.
They're understanding the issue. They're taking steps to fix it, and they're not just keeping their mouth shut.
There's nothing worse than communicating with a company where you tell them everything you've done to fix the problem so they can help you fix the problem, and they ask you questions about the things that you've told them you've already done. And you're like, hey, did you read? Did you hear what I just said? And of course, that's what I'm saying in my mind. I'd never actually truly say that to any one or other professional, but everybody, I'm sure, has thought that at some point or another.
Yep.
Right? And Baruto, if you're considering a monitor purchase, and I know I'm probably going to get scolded for saying this, but look at G-Sync. Look at G-Sync. I know you technically don't need it if you're not going to ever reach the frame rate limit, but I'll tell you what, man. G-Sync changed my life for the better. Really did. So, I know you probably have a budget, and A-dubs, you're probably going to laugh at me for even bringing up G-Sync, because again, it's somewhat irrelevant to a lot of people. But man, if you want to become an even further gaming snob than you already are with certain particulars, just you may want to stay away from G-Sync then.
Yeah, see, because of his reaction,
don't use G-Sync.
I don't want G-Sync because he's been like, it's so great, and I don't want to ruin gaming on a non-G-Sync for myself.
That's actually the first thing I told you guys.
Yeah, I've been
like, so how's your G-Sync monitor? Don't do it. Stay away. Don't. Was that bad? No, it's amazing.
Don't spend all your money.
Like, my brother kept asking me for like weeks about a good monitor, and I was just trolling him like, get yourself a G-Sync. And he finally got one. And then his girlfriend messaged me, and she was like, I want to get him some games because that's all he does now. I'm like, you're welcome. But yeah. Hello, smuggler. Hello. Happy to see you. You're a new one. Welcome.
Welcome.
You joined us just at the perfect time, to which we typically rant about nonsensical things when we try to stay on topic, but that is not always possible.
Yeah, just it very rarely happens.
Very rarely. But to kind of close on your topic about Ryzen and the Vive Wireless, they're likely to come out with a fix sooner or later because, like any other company, HTC likes to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to find a better way to improve their product if they have not already. So I have all of the faith in the world in HTC and being able to take care of their clients.
Yeah, and especially after what we were talking about, was it last week or the week before, with all the shakeups that are going in Oculus, and that's kind of, we're waiting to see how that's going to turn out. I appreciate that the other big VR headset manufacturer kind of has it together, or at least is on the up and up.
Like the one that actually acts like a VR manufacturer and not like a man that just slides behind the curtain as poo is the fan?
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's you have Oculus, you have Vive, and then you have everybody else. And with how Oculus has been looking, this is just making HTC look good to me.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Oculus headset personally, right? It's light. The controllers are amazing. I didn't care so much for the sensor setup. Once I set it up in a manner to where I really never had to tweak them or break them down or set them back up again, it's okay. I just don't like the fact that Oculus is so absent in their support. Like, awfully absent.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. Some people don't care about the support whatsoever.
Yeah, but when you're talking about early adopter tech, kind of like Brewer brought up earlier, I feel like that's a much bigger factor, is that support when you're trying to get something new. Which I think is why HTC beat Oculus to the wireless, and I think they'll continue to.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
Man, I hope so.
I like their headset more, personally.
Speaking of hope, not in such a good way, but in the fact that my hopes were blundered, Digital Foundry has completed the analysis on Battlefield 5's ray tracing. And as promised earlier in this live stream, we're going to talk a little bit about how that went. It looks amazing if you look at the differences. They actually break it down per setting in an old school, like circa 2010 manner, where you have either a slider or it's side by side, and you can see the very minor differences all the way to major differences. And then one of the first things that Digital Foundry wanted to clarify, at least on 3 separate occasions in this article, is like, this is still new tech. This is still new tech. DICE is still making improvements. So you got to bear in mind, it's still new. It's going to look better. In some shots, I feel like you can see clear differences. In other shots, you can't tell a difference at all. And to be fair, Digital Foundry used like some zoom ins on things, where you really wouldn't, like, the detail is lost anyway.
Gotcha.
In a matter of speaking. But I guess NVIDIA was released for comment that they're going to continue to work with DICE on certain improvements as it relates to real-time ray tracing. But the interesting thing is, because I started to read a little bit more while I was reading this article, Sean, I started to read a little bit more about ray tracing and like what it does functionally and what developers look forward to when it comes to working with ray tracing. And the only way I could put it in such a manner that you would understand its complexity is it's basically technology for technology.
Yo, dog.
Yo, dog, I heard you like technology. So I put some ray tracing inside your rasterization so you can smooth while you smooth. It's essentially what it is.
Did you practice that?
No.
Okay, all right. Respect on that one. That was pretty good.
No, it was, and because it's like, they started to say stuff and things that I couldn't understand. And like my vision started to blur and I felt drool coming down my face and I hit my knee on the underside of my desk because I had a knee-jerk reaction. And basically, it improves the improvements that they use to improve the game, right? It automates it to a degree. But the problem they're having is when it comes to the shift in light that a frame is trying to catch, the pixels are supposed to rotate in such a way that the shadows reflect in an appropriate manner. They change in an appropriate manner. So if we were to take like some of our set lights and move it, and you would kind of see the cast of light as it relates to the position of it, the pixels are basically supposed to trade spots with each other in a fluid manner, so it looks like that transition of light is changing. Yeah. But what is happening is they're jumping. They're jumping all over the place. They're like, and having a seizure, and it's breaking things. So that's why we're not seeing like a huge night and day difference between ray tracing settings as it relates to Battlefield 5 is because it's getting broken. So they can't use it. It's basically softcore ray tracing, in a matter of speaking.
Yeah, it's just, and Ruru hit it right on the head. Ray tracing still feels like it's in its alpha state. Yeah, it does. It really does. Developers are still figuring out how to use it when we have games that are supposed to have it included coming out in the next couple months, and cards are available now that has it. And developers are just now learning. Yeah, it does definitely feel like a very, very early on in the development.
I want you to pronounce the word that A-Dubs just posted.
Me?
Mm-hmm. One try.
Technology. Is that all right?
Technology.
Yeah, gnyaw.
Technology.
It's like gnocchi, like the like the pasta.
Gnocchi.
Yeah, right.
Joe and Ray Tracing 2018.
Can we get shirts made with that on it? That'd be amazing.
I've become a Ray Tracing meme. Oh no. Ruder thinks that NVIDIA would make so much more money if they sell this tech to medical imaging and mass spectrometer machines. Yeah, dude, they'd make a killing. And maybe that's what they have been doing. Maybe that's where they came up with the idea for like, hey, let's put it in some games.
Well, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Like, I really think they should have done ray trace. They should have waited another generation and put ray tracing into like the Titan level and their Quadro cards. That way you can kind of work out, you know, with your researching or your research companies and your educational institutes that kind of have that time to do a little bit of R&D and play with it. And that's kind of expected.
Sure.
I feel like ray tracing would have been a lot more baked when it's coming to the gaming market if they would have kind of given it an extra like little bit of time to test it.
You see, I know what you meant when you say baked, but when you actually say baked, I just think of like some head honcho somewhere like in a studio where you're ray tracing. Like, man, this makes my development so much easier, man. Yes, your shadows have shadows, and the shadows are taking care of other shadows.
Is that a Canadian game developer impression?
Oh, you know, it'd be real nice if this shadow over here behaved, and he's a bad little guy, but we're gonna help to make him a good little guy.
All right, let's hop over. I feel like we've covered hardware pretty well. I
mean,
look, we talked about
more hardwares.
The Taiwanese manufacturers like Gigabyte and Tool, who makes Power Color, Kevin. Not a huge market in the U.S., but they are sold pretty heavily elsewhere.
Real quick, Kevin, I appreciate the compliment, man. That's what we try to do. There's no bias in this table. If there are, I try to provide full disclosure.
Yeah, we carry everything tech, so we don't really have a dog in the fight when it comes to preferring like AMD versus Intel. We want what you want.
Yeah, we're not going to flame anybody, you know? No. We're not going to talk badly about anybody for the sake of doing it. If we feel like they've made a mistake or that they're failing in some subject of the business, like we'll say that too. Bear in mind that these opinions are purely the subject of our own opinions and do not in any way, shape, or form represent the opinions of AVADirect as an entity. That is not a disclosure that we have anywhere in this live stream, so I feel necessary to say that because I like my job a lot. So, but Kevin, appreciate you watching, man. I hope you come back. My favorite part of the live stream personally is the engagements.
Oh, yeah.
The topics, to me, this is just filler. It's just filler, man. If I could just have like a conversation with all of you on a live stream, like, it'd be great. That and the ability to literally say whatever I want, but I understand doing this as a company representative, I will never be able to do that. I have to speak to everybody as if I'm talking to my children. Because not only do I not want you to repeat it, I myself do not want to be punished. So. Hey, do you see that deceased horse over there? Let's beat the hell out of it. It just reminds me of Dirty Work. Let's see in Dirty Work. Hey. You see that alien over there? Yeah, kind of looks like a dude. I'm just gonna.
You bring up Dirty Work so much. Like,
it's such a good movie.
It's just it's such a weird one to be like.
Why don't you go to the horse, or why don't you get a horse? Go to the mountains, so you don't bother anybody. What? I hope it's still kicking strong, Kevin. The PC you got from us 2 years ago. I hope it's still going.
Oh, hey, look, A-Dubs wants to be your child.
Where? Oh. Can I rename you? Is that bad? Like when you adopt children, can you rename them? Is that a thing? Like pets?
Oh, jeez, dude.
I didn't mean it like that.
Wow.
I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, going down to the shelter, gonna try and get one that wasn't abused.
No,
like,
it's
good
like,
Lord,
my
man.
name's Jimmy. Nah, it's Kevin now.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, let's go straight from that into, we do have some AVA news. We were talking a little bit about component sales and how there's not a whole lot great going on right now. The nice thing, though, is that system integrators like us do have some good Cyber Weekend sales that are going on. So we are calling it Simple Cyber Savings. Yes.
Because it is as easy as clicking a button.
Yeah, it's pretty
much. Familiar?
You build a PC and then you click a button and we give you a big discount. That's really about the long and short of it.
Most people, when you push their buttons, you can either get punched in the face or you cause drama. You push our buttons, we give you money. So you can push my button any day. I'll give you savings. We all give you savings.
I didn't. As Brooks,
turn off the lights and Brooks I'll give you even more savings.
And I see like a server in a shopping cart, which is just. Kind of
You've never gone to the store to buy a server? Ever?
No. I work here.
I don't know if that means that you feel like you're piss poor because of that, or you're just saying like, I just go get a server in the stock room.
Yeah, I would just like, hey guys, ask them to put an extra one on PO, and then it wouldn't have to do anything. Only if I can have.
He does wants a job as the boss's screw up son.
Hey, that job's taken, sir.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and play our promotional video real quick because Brooke's real adamant about it, and she's very proud of it. It's a video well done. So we're gonna go ahead and play our promotional Simple Cyber Savings video for you. Enjoy it.
Skip the deals on wheels this holiday season. Site-wide savings for every PC on sale, and it's as easy as clicking a button. Click the Apply Discount button within our shopping cart to save instantly. No coupon codes and no crazy links. Our biggest sale ever, November 23rd through the 26th, from AVADirect Custom Computers. Whoa, ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, welcome back, guys.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to hear about your credit card, A-Dubs. I started doing Christmas shopping 2 weeks ago just because I'm usually terrible at purchases for Christmas because I do everything last minute, and I've had some really good ideas for my wife, so I've just started buying things, regardless of the fact that it's probably going to be on sale for like within like the next week. But you know,
but you have it, and you don't have to worry about it, which is worth.
Yes,
it's definitely worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, except the thermal paste issue. That's right, Kevin. That's very right. You're not wrong.
No.
So onward to news. We're still doing that sweet promotion with AMD. If you buy an ARC series card.
Yeah,
Resident Evil 2, Devil May Cry 5, and The Division 2.
Yeah, which is actually, I mean, those are actual games that people want to play. You know, it's not a, there was a promo a while ago that was essentially just like free in-game items in an MMO. Meanwhile, this is like, hey, you get real good games.
Casey bought 3 cans of Pringles yesterday, and I was almost certain before I'd opened my mouth to ask her why she decided to buy Pringles. It was because you get Overwatch loot. Right on the top.
Oh, it's like, no. Is she hooked on Overwatch now?
No, but she's like, she has an interest in it, obviously, and I've been wanting to play it with her too, and I just hooked our PCs back up for the first time in a couple of weeks last night, so it's only a matter of time. And, yeah, I thought she bought the Pringles because of Overwatch loot. And apparently she's like, no, I just want Pringles. I'm like, well, still a great reason to buy Pringles.
I mean, now you're going to have, like, Wes calling Casey, be like, hey, can I have those empty Pringles cans?
I told her, like, hey, like, when I'm gone next week at ITSEC, like, she's like, I want to play Overwatch. I'm like, message Wesley, play Overwatch, man. Have fun.
Wait, you think Wes wants to play Overwatch? No way.
Why would Wes
that would be such a stretch.
Ever want to play Overwatch? That is just asinine.
It's like asking John Wick if he likes dogs.
Does he like breaking your ass if you kill his dog? Yes. And yes, best of luck to you, Smuggler. Ironic that your tag is Smuggler and you said you're going Black Friday shopping. Bring a taser.
Yeah.
Like something. Bring something to defend yourself. And I know that you probably won't need it. I hope you don't need it.
No, you just got to practice the low-key elbow bump of...
Casey, yeah, I mean, but you're just going to piss somebody off.
You can't get it up. You got to...
Casey, I know those are your Pringles cans and your Pringles, but we live together, so I'm going to eat the damn Pringles. You better eat all those Pringles before I come back, because if you don't, I am. You can keep the Overwatch items. But I'm going to eat the shit out of those Pringles. Just saying. Maybe
you can't whisper things like that, because they take on a different connotation.
What are you talking about?
I just don't.
Could you explain this connotation?
Not while maintaining employment.
Were you going to say not in Steam? You're like, not... Like hissing at me? Not... Ah!
Yeah.
Ah! Ah!
What? Oh, man. Good Lord. A-dubs, whisper in my ear, daddy. Yeah, see, that's why you can't...
Promotion AMD, got Resident Evil 2, Devil May Cry, and The Division 2. No? Okay. I'm done. Reminder that we will be closed tomorrow and Friday because of what I just did.
Yeah.
I've closed our business.
And due to that, Joe will not be doing the stream next week either.
In fact, I may not be doing the stream the week after either.
Yeah, so actually...
Or the following week.
Next week, though, why aren't you going to be here?
I'm going to ITSEC! Oh! I'm going to be there with our VR system, multi-user VR experience. And we've partnered with Tsunami XR. They're a Florida-based company. And what they do is they make virtual reality workspaces. So you can put like friggin' helicopters in the middle of the room or waterfalls so you can't go breaking them or chasing them.
No.
I can't believe I just messed that up.
I can't believe you just made a TLC reference in 2018.
Just make sure that if you are going to be in the VR space that you stick to the lakes and the rivers that you're used to. Okay?
Do you want to start singing about Scrubs and how a Scrub's a guy that can't get no love from you?
Are you hanging on the passenger side of your best friend's ride?
All right, we've reached...
Hey!
We've reached the depth of my knowledge on TLC.
I'm sorry to hear that we've reached the depth of your knowledge.
Oh.
Apparently I need to go to the doctor because A-Dub said that was sick.
So actually, hey, Brooke, can you pull up on the, this is something I wanted to get your reaction on, Joe.
Oh, no.
The second topic down on gaming. Can you just click on that link?
Why?
The is this the next? Because I want to get your reaction to this.
Male shower simulation just got even better.
Yeah. Just with how often we bring up Shower with Your Dad Sim, I saw this on Tom's and just had to. Apparently, there's some developer out there that is designing what seems to be the spiritual successor to Shower with Your Dad Simulator, Joe.
And what's it called? Shower with Your Friends Simulator?
What is it? I think it's like Male Shower Simulator. It's not a super creative name, but rinse and repeat. That's it.
I mean, at least like the whole focus of the game isn't that you fall in love with a pigeon.
Oh, what's that?
What is it, Casey? What's the pigeon dating simulator?
No, I know this one.
Hurry up, tell us.
Hotoful boyfriend or something like that.
Oh, it's a very hotoful boyfriend. First thing that popped in my head.
But yeah, so
hotoful boyfriend.
I might be getting that rinse and repeat
now
for
you. Now I believe you.
You can play it.
Rinse and repeat for me. Is it in VR?
It is. It's a VR only game.
I'm in. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to boot it up. I'm going to wake up early one morning. I'm going to boot it up on my VR PC and then just slip like the headset on Casey's head and then like tickle her feet awake. And she'll just be in a shower with some random dude. And then when she wakes up, I'll go, "How could you?"
So you're getting a divorce?
Whoa. No one's saying the D word here. D word. Okay?
Come on, man.
Hope it's multiplayer. Hey guys, you want to take a shower tonight? See you at 7 o'clock, bro.
Yeah, would it be...
Stream it. You won't. Don't tempt me, smuggler. I'll do it. I'll stream it. I'll wait until everybody's off on holiday and I'll just come in and boot up the stream PC.
Oh, gosh.
Joe's gone rogue. He's streaming with dudes. And they're rinsing and repeating. And their topics are fleeting.
Now, I was about to say let's talk about a game that isn't a total joke, but we're about to talk about Fallout 76, which is not seeming too great right now.
Oh, are you talking about the Fallout 76, to which the Fallout 4 DLC is actually beating it in its Metacritic score?
Yeah.
Wow. Shouldn't the Vault Boy be thumbs down?
Fallout 76, it's not getting better.
Fallout 76. It's the greatest thing since Fallout 76. That's how I feel about it.
Is Fallout 76 the Duke Nukem Forever of the Fallout franchise?
Oh, God, no.
I hope not. But yeah, no, it's not looking too great. And yeah, Fallout 4 DLC is beating it, which I'm curious to see if this means that Fallout 76 is just going to kind of get forgotten about.
Lots of laser beams. It is going to get forgotten about.
Like, I wonder if it'll just kind of like...
At this point, dude, it is a disgrace. It is an absolute disgrace for what it is, considering where they've come from. I mean... You got to remember, Fallout 4 was even kind of
A-Dubs repeats dead horse comment. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's Fallout 4 was kind of pushing it. Like, we kind of like what you did with this Bethesda, but we don't. Go a different direction if you're going to do more Fallout games. And then they came out with the DLC, and they were like, oh, very nice. Good job. And then they came out with Fallout 76, and really what they should just do is 86 themselves, honestly. Just be Fallout 86, because that's what people want to do.
Pretty much. I forgot it. Smuggler. I forgot it was a thing a week after the first trailer. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. In positive news, Civilization 6 has a new DLC coming out.
Ooh, Gathering of the Storm, and we have a trailer for you to see.
Yes, we do.
Enjoy.
So, are you a big Civ player?
Human advancement knows no boundary. But this has not been without its price. Though we stand at the height of prosperity, we need only look to the past to remember that nature is a power that cannot be ignored. Consuming even the mightiest empires and causing the greatest among us to tremble in her fury. From adversity, the human spirit endures, finding ways to coexist with the earth. Or bend it to our cause. Pursuing a course beyond distant horizons and revealing paths both towards innovation and unintended catastrophe. Our survival necessitates new solutions to old problems. To ensure a future, both for ourselves and generations to come. United in purpose, we must now look beyond borders and welcome the dawn of the next era in human civilization.
So while you guys were watching that release trailer of the DLC for Civ 6, I was just talking about the fact that the Fallout 4 video that you can find on YouTube of a dude that walks up to a piece of scrap metal to pick it up, it looks like a crushed car, and then a glitch ends up just pulling him up into the air to make him fly, and then he drops to his death, was more entertaining to watch than I would imagine it is to play Fallout 76. So just look for that video if you want to have a good time. If you don't want to, invest the time and energy to play Fallout 76, it's just as good.
But here, let's talk about Civ real quick before we take off, because it is
the Civ is a very serious illness, and you should get checked regularly for it.
Yeah, I mean, so I know I'm a pretty big RTS guy. I love Civ.
I like RTSs, but man, I tried to play Civ 5, and it was like 11:30 at night, and the next thing I know, I came to, it was like 6 in the morning. I'd fallen asleep. And like I could hear all the noises of like the clattering of things, and like and that's probably what did it. Like just like the soft noises in the game,
almost like ASMR quality to it.
Yeah, you just kind of fall asleep to it. You're like, I'm just gonna rest my eyes a bit in this bright screen in this dark lit room.
Yeah, this actually, I played the absolute hell out of Civ 5. I haven't bought Civ 6 yet. This actually I may grab it, and next time I have a weekend to burn, because I really don't want to buy it right before the holidays. Yeah. Just because I know I won't get anything done.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy it. Let me know how it goes. I might try this one.
Yeah, and I feel Civ is one of those ones, like if you have somebody to play with, that can make it a lot more fun.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
1v1 me and Civ 5.
You will whoop me.
Yeah.
Via email.
Hey, I'm doing this, bro.
Developing gunpowder?
Okay. Do you see red scorpions? Wait.
Oh, hey, somebody told...
Wrong ISP.
John Hejl? Hale? Ooh, Hejl.
John. It's John from Skyview, bro.
Oh, hey, John. You are looking glowing today.
Oh, I'm 3 months. With a food baby. Thanks, John. Good to see you and hear from you.
So that does bring us to the end of today's stream. Join us next week. We're not quite sure exactly what's going to be going on. You'll probably end up either seeing myself or one of our techs doing a live build. More details on that to come.
If we're not doing a live build, we're just going to do a live stream without me. We might have some footage from me at ITSEC, which we can implement. Internet connectivity at the ITSEC conference is not great. It also costs an arm and a leg, and I like having both 2 arms and legs, so I did not want to give any up. But either way, stay tuned for more news. We'll post on social media and let you know. Thanks for joining, everybody, and you guys have a great, long extended weekend and a Thanksgiving.
See you guys.